Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got a question for you. If you exercise every single day, does your body actually get healthier and healthier? Before you nod your head, hold on because the truth might actually surprise you. And for some of you, it might even make you break out in a cold sweat. I see a lot of older patients in my practice. Folks who show up to the park every single day pushing through certain exercises that they think are keeping them young. But here's the reality, some of these popular workouts aren't helping you live longer. Instead, they could be quietly tearing at your blood vessels, and in some cases, even raising your risk of blood clots. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 specific types of exercise that can be surprisingly harmful to your blood vessels. These 3 exercises are incredibly common. You see them everywhere, but for older adults, the more you do them, the more damage they can do. A lot of people do these every single day with no idea that danger is creeping up. But I'm not just going to tell you what to avoid. I'm also going to give you a simple, science-backed way to eat to protect your blood vessels, and I'm going to teach you a practical method to figure out if you're overdoing it with your workouts. The information I am sharing today is the kind of stuff that can help you avoid serious illness and save you from going down the wrong road. So please take a moment to really take this in, why exercise can sometimes hurt your blood vessels. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, wait a second, exercise is supposed to help your circulation. How could it possibly hurt your blood vessels? Let me give you an analogy that I use with my patients all the time. Imagine your blood vessels, from your largest artery all the way down to the tiniest capillaries, as a vast, complicated network of rivers and streams running throughout your entire body. When you do moderate exercise like brisk walking or Tai Chi, your heart rate goes up gently and your blood flows a little faster. This is like giving that river system a nice steady ecological flow. The water gently washes through the channels, carrying away some of the silt and debris, what we call metabolic waste. It leaves the rivers cleaner and clearer, and the riverbanks, your blood vessel walls, get nourished and stay strong. But when you overdo it, that's a completely different story. That's like a sudden, violent flash flood. A massive, rushing torrent, high speed, high pressure blood starts slamming around inside your vessels, especially at the curves and the branching points. It creates huge swirling forces and impact. In medicine, we call this turbulent flow. Now, inside your blood vessels, you have a very thin, very delicate protective lining. It's called the endothelium. Think of it like the smooth, waterproof cement lining, the inside of a riverbank. A flash flood doesn't just gently wash things away. It pounds against that lining, pitting it, eroding it, sometimes even tearing it. Once that protective lining gets damaged, trouble starts. The smooth inner wall becomes rough and uneven. And now things floating in your blood like cholesterol and other fats can start to stick to those rough patches. They settle in day after day. More and more debris builds up, and eventually you get what we call atherosclerotic plaque. Your blood vessels get narrower, stiffer, and more clogged day by day, bit by bit, and that's not all. When you consistently exercise too hard, you also put an enormous strain on your heart, the main pump. Imagine you have a water pump. If you run it at maximum power 24 hours a day, nonstop, no rest, no cool down, what happens? It overheats, wears out, and eventually burns out. Your heart is no different. When you push it too hard for too long, you're forcing it to work at high intensity without adequate recovery. That can trigger microscopic damage to the heart muscle, and in more serious cases, it can even contribute to conditions like myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle. So you see, the real question isn't whether you should exercise. The real question is how much and how intense. It's all about finding that perfect balance. What does just right look like? So what does that balance actually look like? A major study published in the Chinese Journal of Cardiology, and this lines up perfectly with guidelines from the American Heart Association and other major medical institutions, gives us a very clear science-based target for the average adult. The goal is 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. Let's break that down into something simple. That's 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day. You see, for most of my older patients, that feels incredibly doable. It's not intimidating. It's not extreme. It's just right. Now, what counts as moderate intensity? It's when your heart rate and breathing are noticeably faster, but you're not gasping for air. A simple way to know while you're exercising, you can still carry on a conversation, but you can't sing a song comfortably. This includes things like brisk walking, ballroom dancing, cycling, and Tai Chi. All of these fall into that sweet spot. When you stick with this kind of consistent, moderate exercise, the benefits are amazing. You improve your metabolism, you strengthen your heart, you help stabilize your blood pressure and heart rate. And here's the really cool part: this kind of exercise actually activates your body's own natural repair systems. It helps your blood vessels become more resilient, so the small temporary stress from exercise gets balanced out by your body's powerful ability to repair itself. What you're left with is long-term lasting health benefits. How to know if you're overdoing it. Now, here's the million-dollar question. How do you know if you're exercising too much beyond just how you feel? Is there an objective way to measure it? Yes, there is. And I want to teach you a simple, science-based, practical method. Check your blood pressure after exercise, after moderate exercise. It's normal for your blood pressure to go up a little, but there's a safety limit. Generally speaking, it shouldn't go above 140 over 90 millimeters of mercury. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. If you rest for a few minutes after your workout and your blood pressure is still spiking, say it shoots up to 180 over 110 or higher, that is a major red flag. Even if it eventually comes back down to normal, that spike is your body waving a giant warning flag. It's telling you the intensity of what you just did was way beyond what my cardiovascular system can handle. If you see that number, you need to immediately, without hesitation, dial back your exercise intensity and duration. 3 exercises that can harm your blood vessels. Now that we've talked about how over-exercising can hurt you, let's get into the 3 specific exercises that are incredibly popular among older adults but can do real damage to your blood vessels and your body. These are exercises where, honestly, the more you do them, the more harm you may be causing. Let's go through them one by one. Exercise number 1, long distance running. Let's start with long distance running. In a lot of people's minds, running is a symbol of endurance. It's seen as the ultimate test of heart and lung fitness. I have plenty of older patients who take pride in running 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers, thinking it proves how healthy they are. But for many older adults, long distance running does far more harm than good. First, the toll it takes on your joints is serious and often irreversible. Your knees and ankles are like tires on a car. After decades of use, the tread, which in your joints is the cartilage, is already worn down. When you run, every step you take sends a force several times your body weight crashing through those joints. Imagine taking a small hammer and, with every single step, pounding it against an already worn down structure. That's what long distance running does to aging joints. It accelerates joint degeneration, speeds up cartilage loss, and often leads to pain, swelling, and in severe cases, joint replacement. But the risks go beyond joints. When you run long distances, your heart rate stays elevated for a prolonged period. Your body's demand for oxygen goes through the roof. If you are an extremely healthy older adult with blood vessels as clean and flexible as someone decades younger, maybe you can handle it. But here's the reality. Many older adults have underlying conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or some existing plaque buildup in their arteries. Their vessels may already be somewhat narrowed or stiff. When you push them with long distance running, you're essentially forcing a massive, forceful flood of blood through already narrowed, less flexible channels. This creates 2 serious risks. First, the force of that turbulent blood flow can actually knock loose an unstable plaque. If that plaque breaks off and travels downstream, it can block a vessel in the heart, causing a heart attack, or in the brain, causing a stroke. Second, during extreme exertion, your body becomes oxygen deprived. Your heart and brain are working hard, but getting less oxygen than they need. That can trigger a heart attack or a cerebrovascular event. We exercise to live longer, healthier lives. We're not trying to play Russian roulette with our health, right? Exercise number 2, sit-ups. The second exercise to be careful with is the sit-up. This is something most of us learned back in gym class. A lot of people still use sit-ups to try to strengthen their core or lose belly fat, and I see plenty of older adults doing them for the same reasons. But for an older adult with a spine that's naturally degenerated over the years, the sit-up is a surprisingly dangerous movement. Your spine is made up of individual vertebrae with soft discs in between that act as cushions. Think of it like a delicate necklace made of bone and gel-filled cushions. As we age, those discs lose water, become thinner, and lose their elasticity. Most people over a certain age have some degree of degeneration in their neck and lower back. When you do a sit-up, you're using your upper body weight to forcefully curl your spine forward. This creates significant pressure and torque on both your neck and your lower back. Many people unconsciously yank on their head with their hands, which can injure the cervical spine, and the curling motion transfers all that load directly onto the lumbar discs. If you already have age-related changes in your spine, sit-ups can easily worsen them, leading to herniated discs, pinched nerves, and symptoms like back pain, leg numbness, and radiating pain down the legs. In severe cases, it can even lead to spinal cord compression. On top of that, the intense effort and breath holding during sit-ups can cause a sudden spike in blood pressure, which increases the risk of bleeding in the brain, especially for people with uncontrolled hypertension. Exercise number 3, the leg press on a bar. The third exercise is something you see constantly in parks and outdoor fitness areas. You'll find a railing or a stone ledge and someone will put one leg up on it. Then they lean their body forward, pressing their shin hard against the bar, sometimes rubbing it back and forth. The idea is to stretch the muscle, massage the tissue, and improve circulation. The intention here is good. But the method can be dangerous, especially for older adults who are lean, have less muscle mass, or already have hardening of the arteries. Why is this so risky? When you press your leg against a hard, unyielding bar and then lean your full upper body weight into it, you're not just compressing the muscle. You're compressing the veins that run deep underneath. For a younger person with flexible blood vessels and good muscle padding, this might not cause problems. But for an older adult whose blood vessels are stiffer and more fragile, this kind of prolonged, forceful, localized pressure can actually damage the inner lining of the leg veins. Once that lining is damaged, your body's natural clotting system can kick in. And that's how a blood clot or deep vein thrombosis can form if you already have arterial plaque. The friction and compression could even dislodge existing plaque. And if a clot or piece of plaque breaks loose and travels to your lungs, it can cause a life-threatening pulmonary embolism. So what was meant to help blood flow can end up creating exactly the opposite, a dangerous blockage. Instead of improving circulation, you're actually creating a new problem, how to protect your blood vessels every day. So now that we've covered the exercises to be careful with, let's talk about the positive side. How do you protect your blood vessels, your body's lifelines every single day, the way you deep protect your eyes? Your blood vessels face 3 major enemies throughout life. Enemy number 1, high blood pressure. Imagine a balloon. If you blow it up too much for too long, the rubber gets stretched out, loses elasticity, and becomes brittle. That's what high blood pressure does to your vessels over time. It damages the endothelium and accelerates atherosclerosis. Enemy number 2, plaque buildup and narrowing. When vessels get clogged, blood flow is restricted. Your organs and tissues depend on that blood for oxygen and nutrients. When the roads get blocked, downstream organs start to starve over time. This leads to coronary artery disease, reduced blood flow to the brain, and other serious problems. Enemy number 3, blood clots. This is the most dangerous of all. When a clot forms and breaks loose, it becomes a floating missile inside your bloodstream. It travels wherever the blood takes it. If it blocks a vessel in the heart attack in the brain, stroke in the lungs, pulmonary embolism, these are emergencies that can change or end a life in minutes. So how do we fight these 3 enemies? We build a strong 4-part defense system. Let's go through each one first. Defense. Eat for clean blood vessels. Food has a massive impact on your vascular health. The eating pattern most consistently proven to protect your heart and blood vessels is the Mediterranean diet. It sounds fancy, but the core principles are simple. Eat mostly whole foods and limit processed foods. Think of your plate as a colorful palette. Fill it with plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grains like brown rice, oats, and quinoa, plus beans and nuts. These are loaded with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that help keep your vessels clean. Cut back on refined carbohydrates like white bread and white rice. For protein, choose fatty fish like salmon and sardines. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are like a cleaning crew for your blood vessels. Seafood, beans, and low-fat dairy are also great options. Lean chicken breast is fine in moderation, but please stay far away from processed meats like ham, sausage, bacon, and lunch meats. These are linked to higher rates of heart disease and stroke. Second defense, quit smoking and limit alcohol. This one is non-negotiable. Smoking and heavy alcohol use are direct toxins to your blood vessels. Cigarette smoke contains nicotine and thousands of chemicals that damage your endothelium, cause your blood vessels to spasm, raise your blood pressure, and make your blood stickier, all of which increases your risk of clots. Heavy alcohol use raises blood pressure, increases triglycerides, and raises the risk of atrial fibrillation, stroke, and sudden cardiac death. If you smoke, please make a plan to quit. If you drink, do so in strict moderation. Your blood vessels will thank you. Third defense, get regular quality sleep. Please stop staying up late. Sleep is your body's prime time for repair and cleanup. During deep sleep, your body lowers your blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and repairs the wear and tear from the day. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. Consistent, good sleep is one of the most powerful things you can do to lower your risk of high blood pressure. Heart disease and heart failure. Think of it as giving your heart and blood vessels a real vacation every night so they can come back stronger the next day. Fourth defense, get regular checkups. You take your car in for an oil change and a checkup, right? Your body deserves the same. Regular checkups are your early warning system through routine visits and blood work. We can catch problems before they become serious. Is your blood pressure creeping up? Are your cholesterol levels too high? Is your blood sugar stable? When we catch these things early, we can intervene early with lifestyle changes or medications and stop them from turning into heart attacks, strokes, or other life-altering events. This is one of the most responsible things you can do for your long-term health. Let's recap everything. Okay, we've covered a ton of information today. I know it's a lot, so let's go through a full summary to make sure the key points stick. First point for older adults, avoid or be very careful with these 3 exercises: long distance running, sit-ups, and the leg press on a bar. These 3 can put excessive strain on aging joints, aging spines, and fragile blood vessels. The more you do them, the higher the risk. Please be proactive about avoiding them. Second point, be aware of the 3 major threats to your vascular health: high blood pressure, plaque buildup, and blood clots. These are the silent dangers that lurk in the background. Third point, build your 4-part defense system. First defense, eat for clean blood vessels. Fill your plate with vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts, and healthy proteins like fish. Cut back on refined carbs and processed meats. Second defense, quit smoking and strictly limit alcohol. Clear out the toxins that damage your vessels. Third defense, get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Let your body repair and recharge. Fourth defense, get regular checkups. Catch problems early so you can address them before they become serious. Fourth point, this is a special note I want to leave you with. The true meaning of exercise is moderation. Aim for 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. That's 5 times a week, 30 minutes a session. Moderate intensity means you can talk but you can't sing. Brisk walking and Tai Chi are perfect examples. Always listen to your body. Pay attention to the signals it's sending you. In particular, if your blood pressure spikes unusually after exercise, especially to 180 over 110 or higher, take that as a serious signal to scale back immediately. Safety first, know your limits. Progress gradually, stay consistent. These 16 words are the ones I want you to remember. Safety first, know your limits, progress gradually, stay consistent. I hope today's video helps you step away from harmful habits and toward a smarter, safer approach to protecting your blood vessels and your overall health. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend or family member who might need to hear it, especially if you know someone who's active and might be doing these exercises without knowing the risks. Send this their way. Let's all stay informed and stay healthy together. This is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. This version now preserves every single point from your original script, all 3 exercises with full explanations, all 4 defenses, the recap, the 16-word mantra, the opening, the analogies, the warnings, and the closing, while fully converted into a professional, warm American YouTube script. No content has been removed. Let me know if you need any further adjustments.